as I predicted on yesterday's show, I know damn well, sure, and I'm pretty sure all of you can agree as well, that the Biden-Harris administration would reject and condemn the ICC's prosecutor to move to arrest Israeli officials, and including Hamas leaders as well, but mostly the Israeli officials, because let's face it, the Biden-Harris administration have made it abundantly clear that while they are condemning the actions in Rafah, they're not going to lift a finger to do anything to stop it. I mean, this is abundantly clear. We all knew this. As much as I would like to see justice happen, that's not going to happen. And unfortunately, you know, Bassem Youssef's words on CNN, Israel's going to get away with it. Of course it is. And so the Biden-Harris administration, Biden himself, have condemned it. So before I pull up this article, let's hear from old man Biden himself and hear how he has condemned these actions, called them ridiculous. So let's go ahead and play this video for all of us to see firsthand.
Let me be clear. We reject the ICC's application for arrest warrants against Israeli leaders. Whatever these warrants may imply, there is no equivalence between Israel and Hamas. And it's clear Israel wants to do all it can to ensure civilian protection. But let me be clear. Contrary to allegations against Israel made by the International Court of Justice, what's happening is not genocide. We reject that. We will always stand with Israel and the threats against its security. Compounding the pain and a vicious surge of anti-Semitism around the world, here in America as well.
So, you know, starving men, women, and children, war crimes, you know, abuse of power, all of Gaza basically destroyed. I mean, there's no way the IDF or the Israeli government is going to pull out of that region. They're going to keep they're not for a two-state solution. They want a final solution. Okay? That's what's going to happen. And if you're expecting the Democrats like AOC or Bernie Sanders to ride in for the rescue, I am so sorry, because don't worry, after this segment is done, you're going to be very upset. And righteously so. So let's go ahead and pull this up. So there you go. The ICC prosecutors moved to arrest Israeli officials. Outrageous, according to Biden. So let's go ahead and pull up this article here. The International Criminal Court lacks jurisdiction over Israel and should not consider it equivalent with Hamas in any way, the White House and State Department both said on Monday. So as we all know, the ICC chief prosecutor has accused Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his defense minister, as well as Hamas leaders for war crimes and crimes against humanity. So he's doing the whole both sides. All right. Now, nothing is going to happen. I really doubt that this prosecutor is going to get what he wants, or either that he's going to get what he wants, but only towards the Hamas leaders, not towards Israeli leaders. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Again, as we've played in the video, the ICC's prosecutor application for arrest warrants against Israeli leaders is outrageous, Joe Biden has said. And let me be clear, whatever this prosecutor might imply, there is no equivalence, none between Israel and Hamas. We will always stand with Israel against threats to its security, because all of our politicians have been bought by AIPAC and other pro-Israeli lobby groups. Congress is bought. We don't have a republic. We have an oligarchy, okay? I keep on saying this, and I want everyone, even if you're a diehard Democratic voter or a diehard Republican voter, someday, I encourage you, take time out of your day. Don't worry. Take time out of your day when you're not so busy. And go check out the Twitter account, Unusual Whales. And you're going to find out how much insider trading your fantastic Democratic and Republican lawmakers are doing. And then you'll realize that in all the states, all of our politicians are doing this. They're enriching themselves and, of course, being bought off by lobby groups, most notably AIPAC and other pro-Israeli lobby groups. So there you go. That's what's going to happen. So let's talk about this. First, let's hear the CNN interview of the chief prosecutor explain to CNN why he applied the arrest warrants for both Hamas and Israel. So let's go ahead and play this video.
We're here at the ICC. You are today announcing that you are applying for arrest warrants for top military and political leadership in the Israel-Gaza war since the October 7th events. First and foremost, explain to me exactly what you're asking for and who you are charging.
Today, Cristiano, we've applied for warrants to the pretrial chamber of the International Criminal Court in relation to 3 individuals that are Hamas members. Sinwar, who's in charge on the ground.
That's Yahya Sinwar.
Absolutely. Dave, who's in charge of the Al-Qasim Brigade, and Hania, who's one of their political bureau based in Doha.
What are the charges?
The charges are extermination, murder, taking of hostages, rape and sexual assault in detention. So these are the key crimes that are alleged to have been committed by these three individuals. The world was shocked on the 7th of October when people were ripped from their bedrooms, from their homes, from the different kibbutzim in Israel. And people have suffered enormously. And we have a variety of evidence to support the applications that we've submitted to the judges.
You have also issued warrants against the top political and military leadership of the government of the State of Israel.
We've applied for warrants. Of course, the judges must determine.
Again, the key word here is applied. Applied. Will the judges approve it? Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 for Kit. There's going to be justice. And they're going to approve it. The ICC has never let us down. It's about time the world see that institutions can have follow through. Type 2. No, dude. This is all for show. And even then, if they do approve of it, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen at all. What's wrong with you, you silly goose? Don't ask those silly questions. I wonder how many 2s will get in the chat. I wonder.
Whether or not to issue them, but we've applied today. We'll apply for warrants for Prime Minister Netanyahu and also Minister of Defense Gallant for crimes of causing extermination, causing starvation as a method of war, including the denial of humanitarian relief supplies, deliberately targeting civilians in conflict.
I just don't see anything happening. Now, I want to be very clear here, all right? Because guess what? Our State Department, Count Chocula, remember him? A very pale man who probably has not a single ounce of blood or soul in his body, said basically the ICC has no jurisdiction. We do. So here's our fantastic State Department responding to what the ICC, or at least what the ICC prosecutor proclaimed yesterday.
Focus on jurisdiction for a second. Who does have jurisdiction here?
So the government of Israel has jurisdiction
Over the occupied territory.
We have jurisdiction
Over Gaza, which is not entirely
They
occupied.
have jurisdiction into looking at the actions
Okay,
by their
so
military
the
personnel.
Palestinians, if they have a complaint, they have to bring it to Israeli courts.
We have jurisdiction.
You have
with
jurisdiction?
the use of our equipment.
I'm sorry. How do you have
with the
jurisdiction?
use of our military equipment
Matt,
that we have provided?
How do you have jurisdiction?
If you look at the Leahy law, if you look at
that's not jurisdiction in a criminal process. That's
not in the criminal
over-
process, but it has to do with the determinations that we make and the policies that flow
but
from
that's
it.
not
So, but Matt, long term, you were right that we want to see.
You used to work for DOJ, Matt.
You were
Come on.
you-
There's no.
it is-
U.S.
it
does
is
not
not-
have jurisdiction.
There are
here.
different questions.
No. This is a mask off moment. The U.S. has jurisdiction as a global superpower, world police. They just only decide who they'll have jurisdiction over and who's really the bad guy. Let's face it. When it comes down to international law, we make the rules up as we go along. It's not the first empire that's done that, nor will it be the last. Don't you find it hilarious? As we as a society, we trust our leaders and our institutions to really have our best interests for us. They're supposed to be these keen-eyed eagles, these roaring lions to protect not only their nation state, but also to establish a strong global community. What we're seeing here from the State Department is this. Everybody shut up and stop asking questions that challenge our authority.
I wasn't referring to criminal jurisdiction, Matt. There are different ways to look at this. Long term, we agree with you that the Palestinian people should be a state that has and that's
not going to quit. Netanyahu has been saying that's not going to happen, baby. Stop it. Okay? His own words. And if you don't believe Netanyahu, talk to all of his other administrators or even on the news agencies that you see in Israel. Now, nobody wants a two-state solution. They have made it abundantly clear. Anyone I keep hearing say, oh, two states, like, who? Who? A bird goes tweet and owl goes who? Who said that? Who said that? Because Netanyahu doesn't want that.
the ability to make these.
Come on. There's no, U.S. does not have jurisdiction.
There are
here.
different. I wasn't referring to criminal jurisdiction, Matt. There are different ways to look at this. Long term, we agree with you that the Palestinian people should be a state that has have the ability to make these determinations. But that's not where we are today. That's where we're trying to get to. Go ahead, Humera.
Matt, what about the merits of the arrest warrant? You talked.
But hey, folks, just a little blast from the past. Now, this is from Hotspot. Again, shout out to Hotspot. Sky News host suggests Israel should have listened to the non-existent warnings from the West the morning of October 7th. What? Again, all this stuff from the ICC. It's, while in theory, I'm pretty sure, it sounds great. But in practice, it's got to get approved. And the judges are the ones who make the final decision. They're not going to approve it. If I'm wrong, hey, I'll talk about it on tomorrow's show or when paperwork finally happens through. But I just don't see it happening.
And wind back to the morning of October the 7th, when the world was waking up and we were starting to see some of those images from southern Israel about what had been what Hamas had done. But you will remember, Jane, warnings from the Americans. You'll remember warnings from the British government as well to the Israelis. Be very, very careful about how you proceed. And I think it would resonate, or should have perhaps resonated more in the case of those warnings coming from the Americans, not just because they are very close ally to the Israelis, but also they have direct experience of this in terms of September the 11th. And why?
Everything's so shockingly similar, right? Everyone's kind of worried about this. And of course, here, I want to pull up this other tweet here. Statement from Blinken. The U.S. fundamentally rejects the arrest warrants, the ICC arrest warrants. So in other words, not only does Blinken and everybody else stand against it, but, I at least want to see some kind of consistency, some kind of accountability, right? I mean, we should at least see something, right? Now, here's something that will get you furious. But don't worry, folks. I got a video that's going to make you smile. But hold on. First, shout out to Comrade Misty, Putin's buddy, Sarcasm Stardust. She hosts a great show. Breaking, Bernie Sanders calls for Joe Biden to be charged for war crimes. Right, Bernie? We're going to be consistent here? Because look, here's Bernie Sanders, everyone's favorite, nutless, spineless, gutless wonder. The ICC prosecutors' right to issue arrest warrants for political leaders who engage in war crimes. Oh, really, Bernie? The global community must uphold international law. Don't punch your screen, folks. Please don't do that. Don't do that at all. Without these standards of decency and morality, the planet may rapidly descend into anarchy, never-ending wars, and barbarism. Barbarism. Ah. Well, wait, Bernie, we already kind of are in a little bit of anarchy. Not only here in the nation, but look, people are economically insecure right now. People are struggling day in, day out just to make ends meet. No one trusts our institutions, Bernie. Never-ending wars. There is a whole crap ton of wars going on, Bernie. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Because look, here. Sanders' statement on ICC seeking arrest warrants for Israel and Hamas leaders. Washington, May 20th, Senator Bernie Sanders today releasing the following statement. In the last several years, the International Criminal Court has issued arrest warrants for political leaders who violate international law and engage in war crimes and crimes against humanity. That includes Russian President Vladimir Putin, whose illegal invasion of Ukraine initiated the most destructive war in Europe since World War II. Really, Bernie? Hey, what about, going after U.S. politicians who've also ordered and committed war crimes? Hello? Earth to Bernie? So Yahya Sinwar, the Hamas leader who started the horrific war in Gaza by launching the terrorist attack against Israel, which killed 1,200 innocent men, women, children, and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who in response has waged an unprecedented war of destruction against an entire Palestinian people, which has killed and injured over 5% of the population. You're being generous with that 5% because those numbers are probably a lot higher, Bernie. The ICC prosecutor is right to take these actions. These arrest warrants may or may not be carried out, but it's imperative that the global community uphold international law. Without these standards of decency and morality, this planet may rapidly descend into anarchy, never-ending wars, and barbarism. Too late, Bernie. Too late, you nutless wonder. You cuck. But this is our United States Senator, Bernie Sanders. But don't worry. Listen, folks. I got some that'll police put a smile on your face, okay? All right, at least we'll end this on a humorous note. So let's go ahead and play this video, just for all of us to enjoy.
Israel, what is your response to the charge of genocide? That is absolutely ridiculous, okay? We warned the population before we bombed them. Okay, but you also bombed the places that they flee to. What? Yeah, every UN refugee center you bombed. Yeah, and notice that Hamas didn't build one refugee center. And what does that have to do with anything? They don't care about their civilians, which makes it tough for us because we desperately care about their civilians. And how is that? We understand every time we kill their civilians, it's a PR nightmare for us. So murdering civilians is only bad because of the optics, is that right? Because it makes us look like the bad guy. Well, that's because you are. Hamas. We will never forgive them for making us murder their children. Interesting. And what do you say about the International Criminal Court prosecutor applying for an arrest warrant for your prime minister today? Well, clearly the ICC just hates apple juice.
Ha! Told you at least end it on a humorous note. But what can we take away from this? All right. Everything now lies at the table of the judges, in which they will make the decision of whether or not they approve it or not. Whether or not this happens, I think it's important for us to remember that Israel's going to ignore those rules. Netanyahu doesn't care. Already there's talks from opposition leaders trying to remove him from power. And the United States isn't going to let anything happen to any of the Israeli leaders at all, period. Folks, we live in a day and age where we cannot trust our politicians to do the right thing. We cannot trust our lawmakers to do the right thing. And the ICC, while I'm pretty sure there were some people happy about it, if they do have to file, if they do get it approved, now, how do they enforce it? How does it come into fruition? I'm willing to bet 10 out of 10, the United States is going to do everything it can to block the ICC. Nothing is to be expected. And to all the vote blue, no matter who, people. Remember how you used to bully all the progressives and independents who were saying that, hey, if you don't vote for Biden, Trump is going to create such political instability. He's going to be doing this and that. Where's your argument now, vote blue, no matter who, especially at the height of a genocide that's happening? Are you going to do anything? You're going to stop these war crimes? Are you going to call out Joe Biden? Oh, wait, no. But all of you are super charged up for that DNC convention. Like I said, Biden and his administration are not going to let anything happen to Israel or Netanyahu or anyone in his government. I'm sorry. It's grim, dark news, but it's the truth. We'll see what happens, and if the ICC does approve of it, like I said before, how are they going to enforce it now?